Introduction and Prologues and Epilogues to the Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe, edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Introduction.
The famous tragedy of the rich Jew of Malta, as it was played before the King and Queen in His Majesty's Theatre at Whitehall by Her Majesty's servants at the Cockpit, written by Christopher Marlowe, London, printed by I.B. for Nicholas Vavasseur, and are to be sold at his shop in the Inner Temple near the church, 1633 42. To my worthy friend Master Thomas Hammond of Gray's Inn, etc. This play, composed by so worthy an author as Master Marlowe, and the part of the Jew presented by so unimitable an actor as Master Allen, being in this latter age commended to the stage, as I ushered it unto the court, and presented it to the cockpit, with these prologues and epilogues here inserted, so now being newly brought to the press, I was loath it should be published without the ornament of an epistle, making choice of you unto whom to devote it, than whom, of all those gentlemen and acquaintance within the compass of my long knowledge, there is none more able to tax ignorance or attribute right to merit. Sir, you have been pleased to grace some of mine own works with your courteous patronage. I hope this will not be the worse accepted, because commended by me, over whom none can claim more power or privilege than yourself. I had no better a New Year's gift to present you with. Receive it, therefore, as a continuance of that inviolable obligement by which he rests still engaged, who, as he ever hath, shall always remain, Tussimus Tho Heywood. The Prologue spoken at the court.
Gracious and great, that we so boldly dare, mongst other plays that now in fashion are, to present this, writ many years agone, and in that age thought second unto none, we humbly crave your pardon. We pursue the story of a rich and famous Jew, who lived in Malta. You shall find him still, in all his projects, a sound Machiavel. And that's his character. He that hath passed so many censures is now come at last to have your princely ears. Grace you him, then you crown the action and renown the pen.
Epilogue spoken at the court.
It is our fear, dread sovereign, we have been too tedious. Neither can't be less than sin to wrong your princely patience. If we have thus low dejected, we your pardon crave. And if aught here offend your ear or sight, we only act and speak what others write.
The Prologue to the stage at the Cockpit.
We know not how our play may pass this stage, but by the best of poets in that age, the Malta Jew had being and was made, and he then by the best of actors played. In Hero and Leander one did gain a lasting memory. In Tamburlaine, this Jew, with others many, the other one, the attribute of peerless being a man, whom we may rank with, doing no one wrong, Proteus for shapes, and Roscius for a tongue. So could he speak so vary, nor is't hate in merit in him who doth personate our Jew this day, nor is it his ambition to exceed or equal, being of condition more modest. This is all that he intends, and that too is the urgence of some friends, to prove his best, and if none here gainsay it, the part he hath studied and intends to play it.
Epilogue to the stage at the Cockpit.
In graving with Pygmalion to contend, or painting with Apelles, doubtless the end must be disgrace. Our actor did not so, he only aimed to go, but not outgo, nor think that this day any prize was played. Here were no bets at all, no wagers laid. All the ambition that his mind doth swell is but to hear from you. By me 'twas well.
End of the introduction, prologues, and epilogues to the Jew of Malta. Dramatis Personae of the Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe. Edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Dramatis Personae.
Machiavel is prologue speaker, read by On the Road.
Farnese as governor of Malta, and Basso, read by Lars Rolander.
Ludowick, the governor of Malta's son, read by J. Saunders, in Portsmouth, the United Kingdom.
Salim Kalimath, son to the Grand Signor, read by Damien Tavis Toman, in New York.
Martin del Bosco, Vice Admiral of Spain, read by Michael Serwa, Houston, Texas.
Giacomo, a friar, read by Kevin Vink.
Bernardine, a friar, read by Aaron Elliott, St. Louis, Missouri.
Barabbas, a wealthy Jew, read by EHehl.
Ithamore, a slave, read by Dennis Sayers, Modesto, California.
Catherine, mother to Matthias, read by Gesine.
Abigail, daughter to Barabbas, read by Andrea Lee.
Bellamira, a courtesan, read by Silence.
Pelaya Borza, a bully, attendant to Bellamira, read by C.M. Slauson.
The First Jew, read by Miriam Esther Goldman, from Houston, Texas.
Second Jew, Second Officer, Second Knight, and Second Merchant, read by Ryan de Ramos.
Third Jew, Slave, and Carpenter, read by Larianne Walden.
First Officer, read by Eric J. Kalowitz.
First Merchant, read by Anna Simon.
Messenger, read by Lucy Perry.
Abyss, read by Iswa.
Announcer by Jennifer Stearns, Concord, New Hampshire.
End of Dramatis Personae. Act 1 of The Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe. Edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Enter Machiavel.
Albeit the world think Machiavel is dead, yet was his soul but flown beyond the Alps. And now the Guise is dead, is come from France to view this land and frolic with his friends. To some perhaps my name is odious, but such as love me guard me from their tongues, and let them know that I am Machiavel, and weigh not men, and therefore not men's words. Admired I am of those who hate me most, though some speak openly against my books, yet they will read me, and thereby obtain to Peter's chair, and, when they cast me off, are poisoned by my climbing followers. I count religion but a childish toy, and hold there is no sin but ignorance. Birds of the air will tell of murders past. I am ashamed to hear such fooleries. Many will talk of title to a crown. What right had Caesar to the empery? Might first made kings, and laws were then most sure when, like the Dracos, they were writ in blood. Hence it comes that a strong-built citadel commands much more than letters can import. Which maxim had Phalaris observed, had never bellowed in a brazen bull, of great ones envy. O the poor petty wights! Let me be envied and not pitied. But whither am I bound? I come not, I, to read a lecture here, in Britain, but to present the tragedy of a Jew, who smiles to see how full his bags are crammed, which money was not got without my means. I crave but this, grace him as he deserves, and let him not be entertained the worse, because he favors me.
Exit. Act 1. Barabbas discovered in his counting house, with heaps of gold before him.
So that of thus much that return was made, and of the third part of the Persian ships there was the venture summed and satisfied. As for those Samnites, and the men of Uz, that bought my Spanish oils and wines of Greece, here have I pursed their paltry silverlings. Fie, what a trouble 'tis to count this trash! Well fare the Arabians, who so richly pay the things they traffic for with wedge of gold, whereof a man may easily in a day tell that which may maintain him all his life. The needy groom that never fingered groat would make a miracle of thus much coin. But he whose steel-barred coffers are crammed full, and all his lifetime hath been tired, wearying his fingers' ends with telling it, would in his age be loath to labour so, and for a pound to sweat himself to death. Give me the merchants of the Indian mines, that trade in metal of the purest mould, the wealthy Moor, that in the eastern rocks without control can pick his riches up, and in his house heap pearl like pebble stones. Receive them free, and sell them by the weight, bags of fiery opals, sapphires, amethysts, jacinths, hard topaz, grass-green emeralds, beauteous rubies, sparkling diamonds, and seld-seen costly stones of so great price as one of them, indifferently rated, and of a carat of this quantity, may serve in peril of calamity to ransom great kings from captivity. This is the ware wherein consists my wealth, and thus, methinks, should men of judgment frame their means of traffic from the vulgar trade, and, as their wealth increaseth, so enclose infinite riches in a little room. But now, how stands the wind? Into what corner peers my halcyon's bill? Ha, to the east? Yes. See how stand the veins east and by south. Why then, I hope my ships I sent for Egypt and the bordering isles are gotten up by Nilus's winding banks. Mine argosy from Alexandria, loaden with spice and silks, now under sail, are smoothly gliding down by Candy's shore to Malta, through our Mediterranean sea. But who comes here?
Enter a merchant.
How now?
Barabbas, thy ships are safe, riding in Malta road, and all the merchants with other merchandise are safe arrived, and have sent me to know whether yourself will come and custom them.
The ships are safe, thou sayest, and richly fraught?
They are.
Why then, go bid them come ashore, and bring with them their bills of entry. I hope our credit in the custom house will serve as well as I were present there. Go send 'em 80 camels, 30 mules, and 20 wagons to bring up the ware. But art thou master in a ship of mine, and is thy credit not enough for that?
The very custom barely comes to more than many merchants of the town are worth, and therefore far exceeds my credit, sir.
Go tell 'em the Jew of Malta sent thee, man. Tush, who amongst them knows not Barabbas?
I go.
So then, there's somewhat come. Sirrah, which of my ships art thou master of?
Of the Speranza, sir.
And sawest thou not mine argosy at Alexandria? Thou couldst not come from Egypt, or by Caire, but at the entry there into the sea, where Nilus pays his tribute to the main. Thou needs must sail by Alexandria.
I neither saw them nor inquired of them, but this we heard some of our seamen say. They wondered how you durst, with so much wealth, trust such a crazed vessel, and so far.
Tush, they are wise. I know her, and her strength, but go thou thy ways, discharge thy ship, and bid my factor bring his loading in.
Exit merchant.
And yet I wonder at this argosy.
Enter a second merchant.
Thine argosy from Alexandria, no Barabbas, doth ride in Malta road, laden with riches and exceeding store of Persian silks, of gold, and orient pearl.
How chance you came not with those other ships that sailed by Egypt?
Sir, we saw 'em not.
Belike they coasted round by Candy shore about their oils or other businesses. But 'twas ill done of you to come so far without the aid or conduct of their ships.
Sir, we were wafted by a Spanish fleet that never left us till within a league, that had the galleys of the Turk in chase.
Oh, they were going up to Sicily. Well, go, and bid the merchants and my men dispatch, and come ashore, and see the fraught discharged.
I go.
Exit.
Thus trolls our fortune in by land and sea, and thus we are on every side enriched. These are the blessings promised to the Jews, and herein was old Abraham's happiness. What more may heaven do for earthly man than thus to pour out plenty in their laps, ripping the bowels of the earth for them, making the seas their servants, and the winds to drive their substance with successful blasts? Who hateth me but for my happiness? Or who is honoured now but for his wealth? Rather had I, a Jew, be hated thus, than pitied in a Christian poverty. For I can see no fruits in all their faith, but malice, falsehood, and excessive pride, which methinks fits not their profession. Happily some hapless man hath conscience, and for his conscience lives in beggary. They say we are a scattered nation. I cannot tell, but we have scambled up more wealth by far than those that brag of faith. There's Kiriajerim, the great Jew of Greece, Obed in Berseth, Nonus in Portugal, myself in Malta, some in Italy, many in France, and wealthy every one. Ay, wealthier far than any Christian. I must confess we come not to be kings. That's not our fault. Alas, our number's few. And crowns come either by succession or urged by force, and nothing violent oft have I heard tell can be permanent. Give us a peaceful rule, make Christians kings, that thirst so much for principality. I have no charge, nor many children, but one sole daughter, whom I hold as dear as Agamemnon did his Iphigen, and all I have is hers. But who comes here?
Enter 3 Jews.
Tush, tell not me 'twas done of policy.
Come therefore, let us go to Barabbas, for he can counsel best in these affairs. And here he comes.
Why, how now, countrymen? Why flock you thus to me in multitudes? What accidents betided to the Jews?
A fleet of warlike galleys, Barabbas, are come from Turkey, and lie in our road, and they this day sit in the council house to entertain them and their embassy.
Why, let 'em come, so they come not to war. Or let 'em war, so we be conquerors. Nay, let 'em combat, conquer, and kill all, so they spare me, my daughter, and my wealth.
Were it for confirmation of a league, they would not come in warlike manner thus.
I fear their coming will afflict us all.
Fond men, what dream you of their multitudes? What need they treat of peace that are in league? The Turks and those of Malta are in league. Tut, there is some other matter in it.
Why, Barabbas, they come for peace or war.
Haply for neither, but to pass along towards Venice by the Adriatic Sea, with whom they have attempted many times, but never could effect their stratagem.
And very wisely said, it may be so.
But there's a meeting in the Senate House, and all the Jews in Malta must be there.
All the Jews in Malta must be there. Ay, like enough. Why, then let every man provide him, and be there for fashion's sake. If anything shall there concern our state, assure yourselves I'll look unto myself.
I know you will. Well, brethren, let us go.
Let's take our leaves. Farewell, good Barabbas.
Farewell, Zareth. Farewell, Tamaint.
Exeunt Jews.
And Barabbas, now search this secret out. Summon thy senses, call thy wits together. These silly men mistake the matter clean. Long to the Turk did Malta contribute, which tribute all in policy, I fear, the Turk has let increase to such a sum as all the wealth of Malta cannot pay. And now by that advantage thinks, belike, to seize upon the town. Ay, that he seeks. Howe'er the world go, I'll make sure for one, and seek in time to intercept the worst, warily guarding that which I had got. Ego mihimet sum semper proximus. Why, let him enter. Let him take the town.
Exit. Enter Fernez, governor of Malta, knights and officers, met by Calymath and bassoes of the Turk.
Now, Bassos, what demand you at our hands?
Know, knights of Malta, that we came from Rhodes, from Cyprus, Candy, and those other isles that lie betwixt the Mediterranean seas.
What Cyprus, Candy, and those other isles to us or Malta? What at our hands demand ye?
The 10 years' tribute that remains unpaid.
Alas, my lord, the sum is overgreat. I hope your highness will consider us.
I wish, grave governor, 'twere in my power to favour you, but 'tis my father's cause, wherein I may not, nay, I dare not dally.
Then give us leave, great Selim Calymath.
Stand all aside, and let the knights determine, and send to keep our galleys under sail, for happily we shall not tarry here. Now, governor, how are you resolved?
Thus, since your hard conditions are such that you will needs have 10 years' tribute passed, we may have time to make collection amongst the inhabitants of Malta for it.
That's more than is in our commission.
What, Calapine? A little courtesy. Let's know their time. Perhaps it is not long, and 'tis more kingly to obtain by peace than to enforce conditions by constraint. What respite ask you, governor?
But a month?
We grant a month, but see you keep your promise. Now launch our galleys back again to sea, where we'll attend the respite you have ta'en, and for the money send our messenger. Farewell, great governor, and brave knights of Malta.
And all good fortune wait on Calymath.
Exeunt Calymath and Bassos.
Go one and call those Jews of Malta hither. Were they not summoned to appear today?
They were, my lord, and here they come.
Enter Barabbas and 3 Jews.
Have you determined what to say to them?
Yes, give me leave, and Hebrews now come near. From the Emperor of Turkey is arrived great Selim Calymath, his highness's son, to levy of us 10 years' tribute past. Now then, hear know that it concerneth us.
Then, good my lord, to keep your quiet still, your lordship shall do well to let them have it.
Soft, Barabbas, there's more longs to't than so. To what this 10 years' tribute will amount, that we have cast, but cannot compass it, by reason of the wars that robbed our store, and therefore are we to request your aid.
Alas, my lord, we are no soldiers, and what's our aid against so great a prince?
Tut, Jew, we know thou art no soldier. Thou art a merchant and a moneyed man, and 'tis thy money, Barabbas, we seek.
How, my lord? My money?
Thine and the rest, for to be short, amongst you must be had.
Alas, my lord, the most of us are poor.
Then let the rich increase your portions.
Are strangers with your tribute to be taxed?
Have strangers leave with us to get their wealth? Then let them with us contribute.
How? Equally?
No, Jew, like infidels, for through our sufferance of your hateful lives, who stand accursed in the sight of heaven, these taxes and afflictions are befallen, and therefore thus we are determined. Read there the articles of our decrees.
Reads.
First, the tribute money of the Turks shall all be levied amongst the Jews, and each of them to pay 1/2 of his estate.
How? Half his estate? I hope you mean not mine.
Read on.
Reads.
Secondly, he that denies to pay shall straight become a Christian.
How? A Christian? What's here to do?
Reads.
Lastly, he that denies this shall absolutely lose all he has.
O my lord, we will give half.
Oh, earth-meddled villains, and no Hebrews born! And will you basely thus submit yourselves to leave your goods to their arbitrament?
Why, Barabbas, wilt thou be christened?
No, governor, I will be no convertite.
Then pay thy half.
Why, know you what you did by this device? Half of my substance is a city's wealth. Governor, it was not got so easily. nor will I part so slightly therewithal.
Sir, half is the penalty of our decree. Either pay that, or we will seize on all.
Corpo di Dio, stay. You shall have half. Let me be used but as my brethren are.
No, Jew, thou hast denied the articles, and now it cannot be recalled.
Excellent officers on a sign from Furnez.
Will you then steal my goods? Is theft the ground of your religion?
No, Jew, we take particularly thine, to save the ruin of a multitude, and better one want for a common good, than many perish for a private man. Yet, Barabbas, we will not banish thee, but here in Malta, where thou gottest thy wealth, live still, and if thou canst, get more.
Christians, what or how can I multiply? Of naught is nothing made.
From naught at first thou camest to little wealth, from little unto more, from more to most. If your first curse fall heavy on thy head, and make thee poor and scorned of all the world, 'tis not our fault, but thy inherent sin.
What, bring you scripture to confirm your wrongs? Preach me not out of my possessions. Some Jews are wicked, as all Christians are. But say the tribe that I descended of were all in general cast away for sin. Shall I be tried by their transgression? The man that dealeth righteously shall live, and which of you can charge me otherwise?
Out, wretched Barabbas! Sham'st thou not thus to justify thyself, as if we knew not thy profession? If thou rely upon thy righteousness, be patient, and thy riches will increase. Excess of wealth is cause of covetousness, and covetousness, oh, 'tis a monstrous sin.
Ay, but theft is worse. Tush, take not from me then, for that is theft. And if you rob me thus, I must be forced to steal, and compass more.
Grave governor, listen not to his exclaims. Convert his mansion to a nunnery. His house will harbour many holy nuns.
It shall be so.
Re-enter officers.
Now, officers, have you done?
Aye, my lord. We have seized upon the goods and wares of Barabbas, which, being valued, amount to more than all the wealth in Malta, and of the other we have seized half.
Then we'll take order for the residue.
Well, then, my lord, say, are you satisfied? You have my goods, my money, and my wealth, my ships, my store, and all that I enjoyed. And having all, you can request no more, unless your unrelenting flinty hearts suppress all pity in your stony breasts, and now shall move you to bereave my life.
No, Barabbas, to stain our hands with blood is far from us and our profession.
Why, I esteem the injury far less to take the lives of miserable men than be the causers of their misery. You have my wealth, the labour of my life, the comfort of mine age, my children's hope, and therefore ne'er distinguish of the wrong.
Content thee, Barabbas, thou hast naught but right.
Your extreme right does me exceeding wrong, but take it to you in the devil's name.
Come, let us sin and gather of these goods, the money for this tribute of the Turk.
'Tis necessary that be looked unto, for if we break our day we break the league, and that will prove but simple policy.
Excellent all except Barabbas and the 3 Jews.
Aye, policy. That's their profession, and not simplicity as they suggest. The plagues of Egypt and the curse of heaven, earth's barrenness, and all men's hatred inflict upon them, thou great Primus Motor. And here upon my knees, striking the earth, I ban their souls to everlasting pains, and extreme tortures of the fiery deep that thus have dealt with me in my distress.
Oh, yet be patient, gentle Barabbas.
O silly brethren, born to see this day, why stand you thus unmoved with my laments? Why weep you not to think upon my wrongs? Why pine not I and die in this distress?
Why, Barabbas, as hardly can we brook the cruel handling of ourselves in this, thou seest, they have taken half our goods.
Why did you yield to their extortion? You were a multitude, and I but one, and of me only have they taken all.
Yet, brother Barabbas, remember Job.
What tell you me of Job? I wot his wealth was written thus: He had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 200 yoke of laboring oxen, and 500 she-asses. But for every one of those had they been valued at indifferent rate. I had at home, and in mine argosy, and other ships that came from Egypt last as much would have brought his beasts and him, and yet have kept enough to live upon, so that not he but I may curse the day, thy fatal birthday, forlorn Barabbas, and henceforth wish for an eternal night, that clouds of darkness may enclose my flesh and hide these extreme sorrows from mine eyes. For only I have toiled to inherit here the months of vanity and loss of time, and painful nights have been appointed me.
Good Barabbas, be patient.
Aye, I pray, leave me in my patience. You that were ne'er possessed of wealth are pleased with want. But give him liberty at least to mourn, that in a field amidst his enemies doth see his soldiers slain, himself disarmed, and knows no means of his recovery. Aye, let me sorrow for this sudden chance. 'Tis in the trouble of my spirit I speak. Great injuries are not so soon forgot.
Come, let us leave him. In his ireful mood, our words will but increase his ecstasy.
On then. But trust me, 'tis a misery to see a man in such affliction. Farewell, Barabbas.
Aye, fare you well.
Exeunt 3 Jews.
See the simplicity of these base slaves, who for the villains have no wit themselves, think me to be a senseless lump of clay that will with every water wash to dirt. No, Barabbas is born to better chance, and framed of finer mould than common men, that measure naught but by the present time. A reaching thought will search his deepest wits, and cast with cunning for the time to come. For evils are apt to happen every day.
Enter Abigail.
But whither wends my beauteous Abigail? Oh, what has made my lovely daughter sad? What, woman, moan not for a little loss. Thy father has enough in store for thee.
Nor for myself, but aged Barabbas, father, for thee lamenteth Abigail. But I will learn to leave these fruitless tears, and, urged thereto with my afflictions, with fierce exclaims run to the Senate house, and in the Senate reprehend them all, and rent their hearts with tearing of my hair, till they reduce the wrongs done to my father.
No, Abigail, things past recovery are hardly cured with exclamations. Be silent, daughter. Sufferance breeds ease, and time may yield us an occasion which on the sudden cannot serve the turn. Besides, my girl, think me not all so fond as negligently to forego so much without provision for thyself and me. 10,000 Portugues, besides great pearls, rich costly jewels, and stones infinite, fearing the worst of this before it fell, I closely hid.
Where, father?
In my house, my girl.
Then shall they ne'er be seen of Barabbas, for they have seized upon thy house and wares.
But they will give me leave once more, I trow, to go into my house.
That may they not, for there I left the governor, placing nuns, displacing me, and of thy house they mean to make a nunnery, where none but their own sect must enter in, men generally barred.
My gold, and all my wealth is gone! You partial heavens, have I deserved this plague? What, will you thus oppose me, luckless stars, to make me desperate in my poverty? And knowing me impatient and distressed, think me so mad as I will hang myself, that I may vanish o'er the earth and air, and leave no memory that e'er I was? No, I will live, nor loathe I this my life. And since you leave me in the ocean thus, to sink or swim, and put me to my shifts, I'll rouse my senses and awake myself. Daughter, I have it. Thou perceivest the plight wherein these Christians have oppressed me. Be ruled by me, for in extremity we ought to make bar of no policy.
Father, whate'er it be, to injure them that have so manifestly wronged us, what will not Abigail attempt?
Why so, then thus. Thou toldst me they have turned my house into a nunnery, and some nuns are there?
I did.
Then, Abigail, there must my girl entreat the abbess to be entertained.
How? As a nun?
Ay, daughter, for religion hides many mischiefs from suspicion.
Ay, but father, they will suspect me there.
Let 'em suspect, but be thou so precise as they may think it done of holiness. And treat 'em fair, and give them friendly speech, and seem to them as if thy sins were great till thou hast gotten to be entertained.
Thus, father, shall I much dissemble.
Tush! As good dissemble that thou never mean'st, as first mean truth, and then dissemble it. A counterfeit profession is better than unseen hypocrisy.
Well, father, say I be entertained, what then shall follow?
This shall follow then. There have I hid, close underneath the plank that runs along the upper chamber floor, the gold and jewels which I kept for thee. But here they come. Be cunning, Abigail.
Then, father, go with me.
No, Abigail, in this it is not necessary I be seen, for I will seem offended with thee for it. Be close, my girl, for this must fetch my gold.
They retire. Enter Friar Giacomo, Friar Barnardine, Abbess, and a nun.
Sisters, we are now almost at the new-made nunnery.
The better, for we love not to be seen. 'Tis 30 winters long, since some of us did stray so far amongst the multitude.
But, madame, this house and the waters of this new-made nunnery will much delight you.
It may be so. But who comes here?
Abigail comes forward.
Grave abbess, and you, happy virgin's guide, pity the state of a distressed maid.
What art thou, daughter?
The hopeless daughter of a hapless Jew, the Jew of Malta, wretched Barabbas, sometimes the owner of a goodly house, which they have now turned to a nunnery.
Well, daughter, say, what is thy suit with us?
Fearing the afflictions my father feels proceed from sin or want of faith in us, I'd pass away my life in penitence, and be a novice in your nunnery, to make atonement for my labouring soul.
No doubt, brother, but this proceedeth of the Spirit.
Ay, and of a moving spirit too, brother. But come, let us entreat she may be entertained.
Well, daughter, we admit you for a nun.
First, let me as a novice learn to frame my solitary life to your straight laws, and let me lodge where I was wont to lie. I do not doubt by your divine precepts and mine own industry, but to profit much.
As much, I hope, as all I hid is worth.
Come, daughter, follow us.
Coming forward.
Why, how now, Abigail? What makest thou amongst these hateful Christians?
Hinder her not, thou man of little faith, for she has mortified herself.
How? Mortified?
And is admitted to the sisterhood.
Child of perdition and thy father's shame! What wilt thou do among these hateful fiends? I charge thee on my blessing that thou leave these devils and their damned heresy.
Father, forgive me.
Nay, back, Abigail.
Aside to Abigail in a whisper.
And think upon the jewels and the gold. The board is marked thus that covers it. Away, accursed, from thy father's sight.
Barabas, although thou art in misbelief and wilt not see thine own afflictions, yet let thy daughter be no longer blind.
Blind friar, I reck not thy persuasions.
Aside to Abigail in a whisper.
The board is marked thus that covers it. For I'd rather die than see her thus. Wilt thou forsake me too in my distress, seduced daughter?
Aside to her in a whisper.
Go, forget not. Becomes it Jews to be so credulous?
Aside to her in a whisper.
Tomorrow, early, I'll be at the door. No, come not at me if thou wilt be damned. Forget me, see me not, and so be gone.
Aside to her in a whisper.
Farewell. Remember tomorrow morning. Out! Out, thou wretch!
Exit on one side, Barabbas. Exeunt on the other side, friars, abbess, nun, and Abigail. And, as they are going out, enter Matthias.
What's this? Fair Abigail, the rich Jew's daughter, become a nun? Her father's son fall has humbled her, and brought her down to this. Tut, she were fitter for a tale of love than to be tired out with orisons, and better would she far become a bed, embraced in a friendly lover's arms, than rise at midnight to a solemn mass.
Enter Lodovick.
Why, how now, Don Matthias? In a dump?
Believe me, noble Lodowick, I have seen the strangest sight, in my opinion, that ever I beheld.
What wast I, prithee?
A fair young maid, scarce 14 years of age, the sweetest flower in Cytherea's field, cropped from the pleasures of the fruitful earth, and strangely metamorphed nun.
But say, what was she?
Why, the rich Jew's daughter.
What, Barabbas, whose goods were lately seized? Is she so fair?
And matchless beautiful, as, had you seen her, 'twould have moved your heart, though countermined with walls of brass, to love, or, at the least, to pity.
And if she be so fair as you report, 'twere time well spent to go and visit her. How say you, shall we?
I must and will, sir. There's no remedy.
And so will I too, or it shall go hard. Farewell, Matthias.
Farewell, Lodowick.
Exeunt severally.
End of Act 1. Act 2 of The Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe. Edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Enter Barabbas with a light.
Thus, like the sad presaging raven that tolls the sick man's passport in her hollow beak, and in the shadow of the silent night doth shake contagion from her sable wings, vexed and tormented runs poor Barabbas with fatal curses towards these Christians. The uncertain pleasures of swift-footed time have ta'en their flight, and left me in despair, and of my former riches rests no more but bare remembrance, like a soldier's scar that has no further comfort for his maim. O thou, that with a fiery pillar ledd'st the sons of Israel through the dismal shades, light Abraham's offspring, and direct the hand of Abigail this night. Or let the day turn to eternal darkness after this. No sleep can fasten on my watchful eyes, nor quiet enter my distempered thoughts, till I have answer of my Abigail.
Enter Abigail above.
Now have I happily espied a time to search the plank my father did appoint. And here, behold, unseen, where I have found the gold, the pearls, and jewels which he hid.
Now I remember those old women's words. Who in my wealth would tell me winter's tales, and speak of spirits and ghosts that glide by night about the place where treasures hath been hid? And now methinks that I am one of those, for whilst I live, here lives my soul's sole hope, and when I die, here shall my spirit walk.
Now that my father's fortune were so good as but to be about this happy place, 'tis not so happy. Yet, when we parted last, he said he would attend me in the morn. Then, gentle sleep, where'er his body rests, give charge to Morpheus that he may dream a golden dream, and of the sudden wake, come and receive the treasure I have found.
Bueno para todos mi ganado no era. As good go on, as sit so sadly thus. But stay, what star shines yonder in the east? The lodestar of my life, if Abigail, who's there?
Who's that?
Peace, Abigail, 'tis I.
Then, father, here, receive thy happiness.
Hast thou it?
Here.
Throws down bags.
Hast thou it? There's more, and more, and more.
Oh, my girl, my gold, my fortune, my felicity, strength to my soul, death to mine enemy, welcome the first beginner of my bliss. Oh, Abigail, Abigail, that I had thee here too, then my desires were fully satisfied. But I will practice thy enlargement thence. Oh, girl, oh, gold, oh, beauty, oh, my bliss.
Hugs the bags.
Father, it draweth towards midnight now, and about this time the nuns begin to wake. To shun suspicion, therefore, let us part.
Farewell, my joy, and by my fingers take a kiss from him that sends it from his soul.
Exit Abigail above.
Now, Phoebus, ope the eyelids of the day, and for the raven wake the morning lark, that I may hover with her in the air, singing o'er these as she does o'er her young, hermoso placer de los dineros.
Exit. Enter Fernez, Martin del Bosco, knights and officers.
Now, Captain, tell us whither thou art bound, whence is thy ship that anchors in our road, and why thou camest ashore without our leave?
Governor of Malta, hither am I bound. My ship, the Flying Dragon, is of Spain, and so am I. Del Bosco is my name, Vice-Admiral unto the Catholic King.
'Tis true, my lord, therefore entreat him well.
Our fraught is Grecians, Turks, and Afric Moors. For late upon the coast of Corsica, because we vailed not to the Turkish fleet, their creeping galleys had us in the chase. But suddenly the wind began to rise, and then we luffed and tacked and fought at ease. Some have we fired, and many have we sunk, but one amongst the rest became our prize. The captain slain, the rest remain our slaves, of whom we would make sail in Malta here.
Martin del Bosco, I have heard of thee. Welcome to Malta, and to all of us. But to admit a sail of these thy Turks, we may not, nay, we dare not give consent, by reason of a tributary league.
Del Bosco, as thou lovest and honour'st us, persuade our governor against the Turk. This truce we have is but in hope of gold, and with that sum he craves we might wage war.
Will knights of Malta be in league with Turks, and buy it basely too for sums of gold? My lord, remember that to Europe's shame the Christian Isle of Rhodes, from whence you came, was lately lost, and you were stated here to be at deadly enmity with Turks.
Captain, we know it, but our force is small.
What is the sum that Calymath requires?
100,000 crowns.
My lord and king hath title to this isle, and he means quickly to expel you hence. Therefore be ruled by me, and keep the gold. I'll write unto his majesty for aid, and not depart until I see you free.
On this condition shall thy Turks be sold. Go, officers, and set them straight in show.
Excellent officers.
Bosco, thou shalt be Malta's general. We and our warlike knights will follow thee against these barbarous, misbelieving Turks.
So shall you imitate those you succeed. For when their hideous force environed Rhodes, small though the number was that kept the town, they fought it out, and not a man survived to bring the hapless news to Christendom.
So will we fight it out. Come, let's away. Proud daring Calymath, instead of gold, we'll send thee bullets wrapped in smoke and fire. Claim tribute where thou wilt. We are resolved. Honour is bought with blood, and not with gold.
Excellent. Enter officers with Ithamore and other slaves.
This is the marketplace. Here let them stand. Fear not for their sale, for they'll be quickly bought.
Everyone's price is written on his back, and so much must they yield, or not be sold.
Here comes the Jew. Had not his goods been seized, he'd give us present money for them all.
Enter Barabbas.
In spite of these swine-eating Christians, unchosen nation never circumcised, poor villains such as were ne'er thought upon till Titus and Vespasian conquered us, am I become as wealthy as I was. They hoped my daughter would have been a nun, but she's at home, and I have bought a house as great and fair as is the governor's, and there, in spite of Malta, will I dwell, having for niece's hand, whose heart I'll have, ay, and his son's too, or it shall go hard. I am not of the tribe of Levi, I, that can so soon forget an injury. We Jews can fawn like spaniels when we please, and when we grin we bite, yet are our looks as innocent and harmless as a lamb's. I learned in Florence how to kiss my hand, heave up my shoulders when they call me dog, and duck as low as any barefoot friar, hoping to see them starve upon a stall, or else be gathered for in our synagogue, that, when the offering basin comes to me, even for charity I may spit into it. Here comes Don Lodowick, the governor's son, one that I love for his good father's sake.
Enter Lodowick.
I hear the wealthy Jew walk this way. I seek him out, and so insinuate that I may have sight of Abigail, for Don Matthias tells me she is fair.
Now will I shew myself to have more of the serpent than the dove, that is, more knave than fool.
Yond walks the Jew. Now for fair Abigail.
Ay, no doubt, but she's at your command.
Barabbas, thou know'st I'm the governor's son.
I would you were his father too, sir. That's all the harm I wish you. The slave looks like a hog's cheek new singed.
Whither wilt thou, Barabbas?
No further, 'tis a custom held with us, that when we speak with Gentiles like to you, we turn into the air to purge ourselves, for unto us the promise doth belong.
Well, Barabbas, canst help me to a diamond?
Oh, sir, your father had my diamonds, yet I have one left that will serve your turn. I mean my daughter, but ere he shall have her, I'll sacrifice her on a pile of wood. I had the poison of the city for him, and the white leprosy.
What sparkle does it give without a foil?
The diamond that I talk of ne'er was foiled, but when he touches it, it will be foiled. Lord Lodowick, it sparkles bright and fair.
Is it square or pointed? Pray, let me know.
Pointed it is, good sir, but not for you.
I like it much the better.
So do I, too.
How shrews it by night?
Outshines Cynthia's rays. You'll like it better far on nights than days.
And what's the price?
Your life, and if you have it. Oh, my lord, we will not jar about the price. Come to my house, and I will give it to your honor with a vengeance.
No, Barabbas, I will deserve it first.
Good sir, your father has deserved it at my hands, who of mere charity and Christian ruth to bring me to religious purity, and, as it were, in a catechizing sort, to make me mindful of my mortal sins against my will, and whether I would or no, seized all I had, and thrust me out of doors, and made my house a place for nuns most chaste.
No doubt your soul shall reap the fruit of it.
Ay, but my lord, the harvest is far off, and yet I know the prayers of those nuns and holy friars, having money for their pains, are wondrous, and indeed do no man good. And seeing they are not idle, but still doing, 'tis likely they in time may reap some fruit. I mean, in fullness of perfection.
Good Barabbas, glance not at our holy nuns.
No, but I do it through a burning zeal, hoping ere long to set the house afire. For, though they do a while increase and multiply, I'll have a saying to that nunnery. As for the diamond, sir, I told you of, come home, and there's no price shall make us part, even for your honourable father's sake. It shall go hard, but I will see your death. But now I must be gone to buy a slave.
And Barabbas, I'll bear thee company.
Come then, here's the marketplace. What's the price of this slave? 200 crowns? Do the Turks weigh so much?
Sir, that is his price.
What can he steal that you demand so much? Belike he has some new trick for a purse, and if he has, he is worth 300 plates. So that being bought, the town seal might be got to keep him for his lifetime from the gallows. The sessions day is critical to thieves, and fewer nuns escape but by being purged.
Rust thou this more but at 200 plates?
No more, my lord.
Why should this Turk be dearer than that more?
Because he is young, and has more qualities.
What, hast the philosopher's stone? And thou hast. Break my head with it, I'll forgive thee.
No, sir, I can cut and shave.
Let me see, sirrah, are you not an old shaver?
Alas, sir, I am a very youth.
A youth? I'll buy you, and marry you to Lady Vanity if you do well.
I will serve you, sir.
Some wicked trick or other it may be, under colour of shaving, thou'lt cut my throat for my goods. Tell me, hast thou thy health well?
Aye, passing well.
So much the worse. I must have one that's sickly, and but for sparing victuals. 'Tis not a stone of beef a day will maintain you in these chops. Let me see one that's somewhat leaner.
Ah, here's a learner. How like you him?
Where wast thou born?
In Thrace, brought up in Arabia.
So much the better. Thou art for my turn. And 100 crowns? I'll have him. There's the coin.
Gives money.
Then mark him, sir, and take him hence.
Ay, mark him, you were best, for this is he that by my help shall do much villainy. My lord, farewell. Come, sirrah, you are mine. As for the diamond, it shall be yours. I pray, sir, be no stranger at my house. All that I have shall be at your command.
Enter Matthias and Catherine.
What make the Jew and Lodowick so private? I fear me 'tis about fair Abigail.
To Lodowick.
Yonder comes Don Matthias. Let us stay. He loves my daughter, and she holds him dear. But I have sworn to frustrate both their hopes, and be revenged upon the governor.
Exit Lodowick.
This Moor is the comeliest, is he not? Speak, son.
No, this is the better, mother. View this well.
Seem not to know me here before your mother, lest she mistrust the match that is in hand. When you have brought her home, come to my house. Think of me as thy father. Son, farewell.
But wherefore talked Don Lodowick with you?
Tush, man, we talk of diamonds, not of Abigail.
Tell me, Matthias, is not that the Jew?
As for the comment on the Maccabees, I have it, sir, and 'tis at your command.
Yes, madam, and my talk with him was about the borrowing of a book or two.
Converse not with him. He is cast off from heaven. Thou hast thy crowns, fellow. Come, let's away.
Sirrah Jew, remember the book.
Marry, will I, sir.
Exeunt Catherine and Matthias.
Come, I have made a reasonable market. Let's away.
Exeunt officers with slaves.
Now, let me know thy name, and therewithal thy birth, condition, and profession.
Faith, sir, my birth is but mean. My name's Ithamore. My profession? What you please.
Hast thou no trade? Then listen to my words, and I will teach thee that shall stick by thee. First, be thou void of these affections, compassion, love, vain hope, and heartless fear. Be moved at nothing. See thou pity none, but to thyself smile when the Christians moan.
Oh, brave, master. I worship your nose for this.
As for myself, I walk abroad on nights, and kill sick people groaning under walls. Sometimes I go about and poison wells. And now and then, to cherish Christian thieves, I am content to lose some of my crowns, that I may, walking in my gallery, see 'em go pinioned along by my door. Being young, I studied physique, and began to practice first upon the Italian. There I enriched the priests with burials, and always kept the sexton's arms in yore, with digging graves and ringing dead men's knells. And after that was I an engineer, and in the wars twixt France and Germany, under pretence of helping Charles V, slew friend and enemy with my stratagems. Then, after that, was I an usurer, and with extorting, cozening, forfeiting, and tricks belonging unto brokery, I filled the gallows with bankrupts in a year, and with young orphans planted hospitals, and every moon made some or other mad, and now and then one hang himself for grief, pinning upon his breast a long great scroll how I with interest tormented him. But mark how I am blessed for plaguing them. I have as much coin as will buy the town. But tell me now, how hast thou spent thy time?
Faith, master, in setting Christian villages on fire, chaining of eunuchs, binding galley slaves. One time I was an ostler in an inn, and in the night time secretly would I steal to travellers' chambers, and there cut their throats. Once at Jerusalem, where the pilgrims kneeled, I strewed powder on the marble stones, and therewithal their knees would rankle so that I have laughed a good to see the cripples go limping home to Christendom on stilts.
Why, this is something. Make account of me as of thy fellow. We are villains both circumcised. We hate Christians both. Be true and secret. Thou shalt want no gold, but stand aside. Here comes Don Lodowick.
Enter Lodowick.
Oh, Barabbas, well met. Where is the diamond you told me of?
I have it for you, sir. Please you walk in with me. What ho, Abigail? Open the door, I say.
Enter Abigail with letters.
In good time, father. Here are letters come from Ormus, and the post stays here within.
Give me the letters.
Aside to her.
Daughter, do you hear? Entertain Lodowick, the governor's son, with all the courtesy you can afford, provided that you keep your maidenhead. Use him as if he were a Philistine. Dissemble, swear, protest, vow love to him. He is not of the seed of Abraham. I am a little busy, sir. Pray pardon me. Abigail, bid him welcome for my sake.
For your sake and his own, he's welcome hither.
Aside to her.
Daughter, a word more. Kiss him, Speak him fair, and like a cunning Jew so cast about, that ye both made sure ere you come out.
O father, Don Matthias is my love.
Aside to her.
I know it, yet I say make love to him. Do, it is requisite it should be so. Nay, on my life, it is my factor's hand, but go you in, I'll think upon the account.
Exeunt Abigail and Lodowick into the house.
The account is made, for Lodovico dies. My factor sends me word a merchant's fled that owes me for 100 ton of wine. I weigh it thus much, I have wealth enough, for now by this has he kissed Abigail, and she vows love to him, and he to her. As sure as heaven rained manna for the Jews, so sure shall he and Don Matthias die. His father was my chiefest enemy.
Enter Matthias.
Whither goes Don Matthias? Stay a while.
Whither but to my fair love Abigail?
Thou knowest, and heaven can witness it is true, that I intend my daughter shall be thine.
Ay, Barabbas, or else thou wrong'st me much.
Oh, heaven forbid I should have such a thought. Pardon me though I weep, the governor's son will, whether I will or no, have Abigail. He sends her letters, bracelets, jewels, rings.
Does she receive them?
She? No, Matthias, no, but sends them back. And when he comes, she locks herself up fast. Yet through the keyhole will he talk to her, while she runs to the window looking out, when you should come and hail him from the door.
O treacherous Lodowick!
Even now, as I came home, he slipped me in, and I am sure he is with Abigail.
I'll rouse him thence.
Not for all Malta, therefore sheath your sword. If you love me, no quarrels in my house, but steal you in, and seem to see him not. I'll give him such a warning ere he goes, as he shall have small hopes of Abigail. Away, for here they come.
Re-enter Lodowick and Abigail.
What, hand in hand? I cannot suffer this.
Matthias, as thou lovest me, not a word.
Well, let it pass. Another time shall serve.
Exit into the house.
Barabbas, is that not the widow's son?
Ay, and take heed, for he hath sworn your death.
My death? What, is the base-born peasant mad?
No, no, but happily he stands in fear of that which you, I think, ne'er dream upon. My daughter here, a paltry silly girl.
Why, loves she Don Matthias?
Doth she not with her smiling answer you?
Aside.
He has my heart. I smile against my will.
Barabbas, thou know'st I have loved thy daughter long.
And so has she done you, even from a child.
And now I can no longer hold my mind.
Nor I the affection that I bear to you.
This is thy diamond. Tell me, shall I have it?
Win it and wear it. It is yet unsoiled. Oh, but I know your lordship would disdain to marry with the daughter of a Jew, and yet I'll give her many a golden cross with Christian posies round about the ring.
'Tis not thy wealth, but her that I esteem, yet crave I thy consent.
And mine you have, yet let me talk to her.
Aside to her.
This offspring of Cain, this Jebusite that never tasted of the Passover, nor e'er shall see the land of Canaan, nor our Messiahs that is yet to come, this gentle maggot Lodowick, I mean, must be deluded. Let him have thy hand, but keep thy heart till Don Matthias comes.
What? Shall I be betrothed to Lodowick?
Aside to her.
It's no sin to deceive a Christian, for they themselves hold it a principle. Faith is not to be held with heretics, but all are heretics that are not Jews. This follows well, and therefore, daughter, fear not. I have entreated her, and she will grant.
Then, gentle Abigail, plight thy faith to me.
I cannot choose, seeing my father bids. Nothing but death shall part my love and me.
Now have I that for which my soul hath longed.
Aside.
So have not I, but yet I hope I shall.
Aside.
Oh, wretched Abigail, what hast thou done?
Why on the sudden is your colour changed?
I know not, but farewell. I must be gone.
Stay her, but let her not speak one word more.
Mute o' the sudden. Here's a sudden change.
Oh, muse not at it. 'Tis the Hebrew's guise, that maidens new betrothed should weep a while. Trouble her not, sweet Lodowick, depart. She is thy wife, and thou shalt be mine heir.
Oh, is the custom? Then I am resolved. But rather let the brightsome heavens be dim, and nature's beauty choke with stifling clouds, than my fair Abigail should frown on me. There comes the villain. Now I'll be revenged.
Re-enter Matthias.
Be quiet, Lodowick. It is enough that I have made thee sure to Abigail.
Well, let him go.
Exit.
Well, but for me, as you went in at doors, you had been stabbed. But not a word on it now. Here must no speeches pass, nor swords be drawn.
Suffer me, Barabbas, but to follow him.
No, so shall I, if any hurt be done, be made an accessory of your deeds. Revenge it on him when you meet him next.
For this I'll have his heart.
Do so. Lo, here I give thee Abigail.
What greater gift can poor Matthias have? Shall Lodowick rob me of so fair a love? My life is not so dear as Abigail.
My heart misgives me that to cross your love he's with your mother, therefore after him.
What? Is he gone unto my mother?
Nay, if you will, stay till she comes herself.
I cannot stay, for if my mother came, she'll die with grief.
Exit.
I cannot take my leave of him for tears. Father, why have you thus incensed them both?
What's that to thee?
I'll make 'em friends again.
You'll make 'em friends? Are there not Jews enow in Malta, but thou must dote upon a Christian?
I will have Don Matthias. He is my love.
Yes, you shall have him. Go, put her in.
Aye, I'll put her in.
Puts in Abigail.
Now tell me, Ithamore, how likest thou this?
Faith, master, I think by this you purchase both their lives. Is it not so?
True, and it shall be cunningly performed.
Oh, master, that I might have a hand in this.
Aye, so thou shalt. 'Tis thou must do the deed. Take this, and bear it to Matthias straight.
Giving a letter.
And tell him that it comes from Lodowick.
'Tis poisoned, is it not?
No, no. And yet it might be done that way. It is a challenge feigned from Lodowick.
Fear not. I will so set his heart afire that he shall verily think it comes from him.
I cannot choose but like thy readiness. Yet be not rash, but do it cunningly.
As I behave myself in this, employ me hereafter.
Away then.
Exit Ithamore.
So, now will I go into Lodowick, and like a cunning spirit, feign some lie, till I have set 'em both at enmity.
Exit.
End of Act 2. Act 3 of The Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe. Edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Enter Bellamira.
Since this town was besieged, my gain grows cold. The time has been that but for one bare night 100 ducats have been freely given, but now, against my will, I must be chaste, and yet I know my beauty doth not fail. From Venice merchants, and from Padua were wont to come rare-witted gentlemen. Scholars, I mean, learned and liberal. And now, save Pilia Borsa, comes there none. And he is very seldom from my house. And here he comes.
Enter Pilia Borza.
Hold thee, wench, there's something for thee to spend.
Shewing a bag of silver.
'Tis silver. I disdain it.
Aye, but the Jew has gold, and I will have it, or it shall go hard.
Tell me, how camest thou by this?
Faith, walking the back lanes through the gardens, I chanced to cast mine eye up to the Jew's counting house, where I saw some bags of money, and in the night I clambered up with my hooks, and as I was taking my choice, I heard a rumbling in the house, so I took only this and run my way. But here's the Jew's man.
Hide the bag.
Enter Ithamore.
Look not towards him, let's away. Zounds, what a looking thou keepest! Thou'lt betray anon.
Exeunt Bellamira and Pilia Borza.
Oh, the sweetest face that ever I beheld. I know she is a courtesan by her attire, Now would I give 100 of the Jews' crowns that I had such a concubine. Well, I have delivered the challenge in such sort as meet they will, and fighting die. Brave sport.
Exit. Enter Matthias.
This is the place. Now Abigail shall see whether Matthias holds her dear or no.
Enter Ludovic.
What? Dares the villain write in such base terms?
Looking at a letter.
I did it, and revenge it if thou darest.
They fight.
Enter Barabbas.
Above.
Oh, bravely fought, and yet they thrust not home. Now, Ludovico! Now, Matthias! So.
Both fall.
So now they have showed themselves to be tall fellows.
Cries within.
Part him! Part him!
Aye, part 'em now they are dead. Farewell, farewell.
Exit above. Enter Fernez, Catherine, and attendants.
What sight is this, my Ludovico slain? These arms of mine shall be thy sepulchre.
Who is this? My son Matthias, slain.
O Lodovic, hadst thou perished by the Turk, wretched Ferneze might have venged thy death.
Thy son slew mine, and I'll revenge his death.
Look, Catherine, look, thy son gave mine these wounds.
Oh, leave to grieve me. I am grieved enough.
Oh, that my sighs could turn to lively breath, and these my tears to blood, that he might live.
Who made them enemies?
I know not, and that grieves me most of all.
My son loved thine.
And so did Lodovic him.
Lend me that weapon that did kill my son, and it shall murder me.
Nay, madam, stay, that weapon was my son's, and on that rather should Ferneze die.
Hold, let's inquire the causes of their deaths, that we may venge their blood upon their heads.
Then take them up, and let them be interred within one sacred monument of stone, upon which altar I will offer up my daily sacrifice of sighs and tears, and with my prayers pierce impartial heavens, till they reveal the causers of our smarts, which forced their hands divide united hearts. Come, Catherine, our losses equal are, then of true grief let us take equal share.
Exeunt with the bodies. Enter Ithamore.
Why, was there ever seen such villainy? So neatly plotted, and so well performed, both held in hand, and flatly both beguiled.
Enter Abigail.
Why, how now, Ithamore? Why laughest thou so?
Oh, mistress!
Why, what ailst thou?
Oh, my master!
Ha!
Oh, mistress, I have the bravest, gravest, secret, subtle, bottle-nosed knave to my master that ever gentleman had.
Say, knave, why railest upon my father thus?
Oh, my master has the bravest policy.
Wherein?
Why, know you not?
Why, no.
Know you not of Matthias's and Don Lodowic's disaster?
No. What was it?
Why, the devil inverted a challenge. My master rid it, and I carried it, first to Lodowick, and imprimis to Matthias. And then they met, and, as the story says, in doleful wise, they ended both their days.
And was my father furtherer of their deaths?
Am I Ithamore?
Yes.
So sure did your father write, and I carry the challenge.
Well, Ithamore, let me request thee this. Go to the new-made nunnery, and inquire for any of the friars of St. Jacques, and say, I pray them come and speak with me.
I pray, mistress, will you answer me to one question?
Well, sirrah, what is it?
A very feeling one. Have not the nuns fine sport with the friars now and then?
Go to, sirrah Sauce. Is this your question? Get ye gone.
I will, forsooth, mistress.
Hard-hearted father, unkind Barabbas, was this the pursuit of thy policy, to make me shew them favour severally, that by my favour they should both be slain? Admit thou lovest not Lodwick for his sire, yet Don Matthias ne'er offended thee, but thou wert set upon extreme revenge, because the prior dispossessed thee once, and couldst not avenge it but upon his son, nor on his son, but by Matthias' means, nor on Matthias, but by murdering me. But I perceive there is no love on earth, pity in Jews, nor piety in Turks. But here comes cursed Ithamore with the friar.
Re-enter Ithamore with Friar Giacomo.
Virgo salve.
When duck you?
Welcome, grave friar. Ithamore, be gone.
Exit Ithamore.
No, holy sir, I am bold to solicit thee.
Wherein?
To get me be admitted for a nun.
Why, Abigail, it is not yet long since that I did labour thy admission, and then thou didst not like that holy life.
Then were my thoughts so frail and unconformed, as I was chained to follies of the world. But now experience, purchased with grief, has made me see the difference of things. My sinful soul, alas, hath paced too long the fatal labyrinth of misbelief, far from the sun that gives eternal life.
Who taught thee this?
The abbess of the house, whose zealous admonition I embrace. Oh, therefore, Giacomo, let me be one, although unworthy, of that sisterhood.
Abigail, I will, but see thou change no more, for that will be most heavy to thy soul.
That was my father's fault.
Thy father's? How?
Nay, you shall pardon me. O Barabbas, though thou deservest hardly at my hands, yet never shall these lips betray thy life.
Come, shall we go?
My duty waits on you.
Excellent. Enter Barabbas, reading a letter.
What? Abigail become a nun again? False and unkind. What, hast thou lost thy father? And all unknown and unconstrained of me, art thou again got to the nunnery? Now here she writes and wills me to repent. Repentance, Spurca, what pretendeth this? I fear she knows 'tis so of my device, in Don Matthias's and Lodovico's deaths. If so, 'tis time that it be seen into, for she that varies from me in belief gives great presumption that she loves me not, or, loving, doth dislike of something done. But who comes here?
Enter Ithamore.
Oh, Ithamore, come near. Come near, my love, come near thy master's life. My trusty servant, nay, my second self. For I have now no hope but even in thee, and on that hope my happiness is built. When sawest thou Abigail?
Today.
With whom?
A friar.
A friar? False villain, he hath done the deed.
How, sir?
Why, made mine Abigail a nun.
That's no lie, for she sent me for him.
Oh, unhappy day! False, credulous, inconstant Abigail! But let him go. And Ithamore, from hence ne'er shall she grieve me more with her disgrace. Ne'er shall she live to inherit aught of mine. Be blessed of me, nor come within my gates, but perish underneath my bitter curse, like Cain by Adam for his brother's death.
Oh, master.
Ithamore, entreat not for her, I am moved, and she is hateful to my soul and me. And lest thou yield to this that I entreat, I cannot think but that thou hatest my life.
Who? I, master? Why, I'll run to some rock and throw myself headlong into the sea. Why, I'll do anything for your sweet sake.
Oh, trusty Ithamore, no servant, but my friend. I here adopt thee for mine only heir. All that I have is thine when I am dead, and whilst I live, use half. Spend as myself. Here, take my keys, I'll give 'em thee anon. Go buy thee garments, but thou shalt not want. Only know this, that thus thou art to do. But first go fetch me in the pot of rice, that for our supper stands upon the fire.
I hold my head, my master's hungry. I go, sir.
Exit.
Thus every villain ambles after wealth, although he ne'er be richer than in hope, but hushed.
Re-enter Ithamore with the pot.
Here 'tis, master.
Well said, Ithamore. What, hast thou brought the ladle with thee too?
Yes, sir. The proverb says, he that eats with the devil had need of a long spoon. I have brought you a ladle.
Very well, Ithamore. Then now be secret, and for thy sake whom I so dearly love, now shalt thou see the death of Abigail, that thou mayest freely live to be my heir.
Why, master, will you poison her with a mess of rice porridge that will preserve life, make her round and plump, and batten more than you are aware?
Ay, but Ithamore, seest thou this? It is a precious powder that I bought of an Italian, in Ancona once, whose operation is to bind, infect, and poison deeply, yet not appear in 40 hours after it is ta'en.
How, master?
Thus, Ithamore, this even they use in Malta here. 'Tis called St. Jacques even. And then, I say, they used to send their alms into the nunneries. Among the rest bear this, and set it there. There's a dark entry where they take it in, where they must neither see the messenger, nor make inquiry who hath sent it to them.
How so?
Belike there is some ceremony in it. There, Ithamore, must thou go place this pot. Stay, let me spice it first.
Pray, do, and let me help you, master. Pray, let me taste first.
Prithee do.
Ithamore tastes.
What sayest thou now?
Troth, master, I'm loath such a pot of pottage should be spoiled.
Peace, Ithamore, 'tis better so than spared.
Puts the powder into the pot.
Assure thyself thou shalt have broth by the eye. My purse, my coffer, and myself is thine.
Well, master, I go.
Stay, first let me stir it, Ithamore. As fatal be it to her as the draught of which great Alexander drunk and died, and with her let it work like Borgia's wine, whereof his sire the Pope was poisoned. In few, the blood of Hydra, Lerna's bane, the juice of Hebon, and Cocytus's breath, and all the poisons of the Stygian pool, break from the fiery kingdom, and in this vomit your venom, and envenom her that, like a fiend, hath left her father thus.
What a blessing has he given't! Was ever pot of rice porridge so sauced? What shall I do with it?
Oh, my sweet Ithamore, go, set it down, and come again so soon as thou hast done, for I have other business for thee.
Here's a drench to poison a whole stable of Flanders mares. I'll carry it to the nuns with a powder.
And the horse pestilence to boot, away.
I am gone. Pay me my wages, for my work is done.
Exit with the pot.
I'll pay thee with a vengeance, Ithamore.
Exit. Enter Fernez, Martin del Bosco, knights, and Basso.
Welcome, great Basso. How fares Calymath? What wind drives you thus into Malta road?
The wind that bloweth all the world besides, desire of gold.
Desire of gold, great sir, that's to be gotten in the Western Ind. In Malta are no golden minerals.
To you of Malta, Thus saith Calymath, the time you took for respite is at hand, for the performance of your promised past, and for the tribute money I'm sent.
Basso, in brief, shalt have no tribute here, nor shall the heathens live upon our spoil. First will we raise the city walls ourselves, lay waste the island, hew the temples down, and shipping off our goods to Sicily, open an entrance for the wasteful sea, whose billows beating the resistless banks shall overflow it with their refluence.
Well, governor, since thou hast broke the league by flat denial of the promised tribute, talk not of razing down your city walls. You shall not need trouble yourselves so far, for Selim Calymath shall come himself, and with brass bullets batter down your towers, and turn proud Malta to a wilderness for these intolerable wrongs of yours. And so farewell.
Farewell.
Exit Basso.
And now, you men of Malta, look about, and let's provide to welcome Calymath. Close your portcullis, charge your basilisks, and as you profitably take up arms, so now courageously encounter them. For by this answer broken is the league, and naught is to be looked for now but wars, and naught to us more welcome is than wars.
Exeunt. Enter Friar Jacomo and Friar Barnardine.
O brother, brother, all the nuns are sick, and the physic will not help them. They must die.
The abbess sent for me to be confessed. Oh, what a sad confession there will be.
And so did fair Maria send for me. I'll to her lodging, hereabout she lies.
Exit. Enter Abigail.
What, all dead, save only Abigail?
And I shall die too, for I feel death coming. Where is the friar that conversed with me?
Oh, he is gone to see the other nuns.
I sent for him, but seeing you are come, be you my ghostly father, and first know that in this house I lived religiously, chaste and devout, much sorrowing for my sins. But ere I came,
What, then?
I did offend high heaven so grievously, as I am almost desperate for my sins, and one offence torments me more than all. You knew Matthias and Don Lodwick?
Yes, what of them?
My father did contract me to 'em both. First to Don Lodwick, him I never loved. Matthias was the man that I held dear, and for his sake did I become a nun.
So, say, how was their end?
Both, jealous of my love, envied each other, and by my father's practice, which is there set down at large,
Gives writing.
the gallants were both slain.
Oh, monstrous villainy.
To work my peace, this I confess to thee. Reveal it not, for then my father dies.
No, that confession must not be revealed. The canon law forbids it, and the priest that makes it known, being degraded first, shall be condemned and then sent to the fire.
So I have heard. Pray, therefore, keep it close. Death seizeth on my heart. Ah, gentle friar, convert my father that he may be saved, and witness that I die a Christian.
Dies.
Aye, and a virgin too. That grieves me most. But I must to the Jew and exclaim on him, and make him stand in fear of me.
Re-enter Friar Jacomo.
O brother, all the nuns are dead. Let's bury them.
First, help to bury this, then go with me and help me to exclaim against the Jew.
Why, what has he done?
A thing that makes me tremble to unfold.
What, has he crucified a child?
No, but a worse thing. 'Twas told me in shrift, thou knowest 'tis death, and if it be revealed, come, let's away.
Excellent.
End of Act 3. Act 4 of The Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe, edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Enter Barabbas and Ithamore, bells within.
There is no music to a Christian's knell. How sweet the bells ring now the nuns are dead, that sound at other times like tinker's pans. I was afraid the poison had not wrought, or, though it wrought, it would have done no good. For every year they swell, and yet they live. Now all are dead, not one remains alive.
That's brave, master. But think you it will not be known?
How can it if we two be secret?
For my part, fear you not.
I'd cut thy throat if I did.
And reason, too. But here's a royal monastery hard by. Good master, let me poison all the monks.
Thou shalt not need, for now the nuns are dead, they'll die with grief.
Do you not sorrow for your daughter's death?
No, but I grieve because she lived so long, an Hebrew born, and would become a Christian. Caso diabolo.
Look, master. Here come two religious caterpillars.
Enter Friar Giacomo and Friar Bernardine.
I smelt 'em ere they came.
God a mercy knows. Come, let's be gone.
Stay, wicked Jew, repent, I say, and stay.
Thou hast offended, therefore must be damned.
I fear they know we sent the poisoned broth.
And so do I, master. Therefore, speak 'em fair.
Barabbas, thou hast...
Aye, that thou hast.
True, I have money. What though I have?
Thou art a...
Aye, that thou art a...
What needs all this? I know I am a Jew.
Thy daughter...
Aye, thy daughter...
Oh, speak not of her, then I die with grief.
Remember that...
I remember that.
I must needs say that I have been a great usurer.
Thou hast committed...
Fornication, but that was in another country, and besides, the wench is dead.
Aye, but Barabbas, remember Matthias and Don Ludovic.
Why? What of them?
I will not say that by a forged challenge they met.
Aside to Ithamore.
She has confessed, and we are both undone, my bosom inmate. But I must dissemble. Oh, holy friars, the burden of my sins lie heavy on my soul. Then pray you tell me, is not too late now to turn Christian? I have been zealous in the Jewish faith, hard-hearted to the poor, a covetous wretch, that would for lucre's sake have sold my soul. 100 for 100 I have ta'en, and now for store of wealth may I compare with all the Jews in Malta. But what is wealth? I am a Jew, and therefore am I lost. Would penance serve to atone for this my sin? I could afford to whip myself to death.
And so could I. But penance will not serve.
To fast, to pray, and wear a shirt of hair on my knees creep to Jerusalem. Cellars of wine and solars full of wheat. Warehouses stuffed with spices and with drugs. Whole chests of gold and bullion and in coin. Besides, I not know how much weight in pearl orient and round have I within my house. At Alexandria merchandise untold, and yesterday 2 ships went from this town. Their voyage will be worth 10,000 crowns. In Florence, Venice, Antwerp, London, Seville, Frankfurt, Lubeck, Moscow, and where not. Have I debts owing, and in most of these great sums of money lying in the banco. All this I'll give to some religious house, so I may be baptized and live therein.
O good Barabbas, come to our house.
Oh, no good, Barabbas. Come to our house, and Barabbas, you know...
I know that I have highly sinned. You shall convert me. You shall have all my wealth.
O Barabbas, their laws are strict.
I know they are, and I will be with you.
They wear no shirts, and they go barefoot, too.
Then 'tis not for me, and I'm resolved. You shall confess me, and have all my goods.
Good Barabbas, come to me.
You see I answer him, and yet he stays. Rid him away, and go you home with me.
I'll be with you tonight.
Come to my house at 1 o'clock this night.
You hear your answer, and you may be gone.
Why, go, get you away.
I will not go for thee.
Not, then I'll make thee go.
How, dost call me rogue?
They fight.
Pardon, master. Pardon.
This is mere frailty, brethren. Be content. Friar Barnardine, go you with Ithamore. You know my mind, let me alone with him.
Why does he go to thy house? Let him be gone.
I'll give him something, and so stop his mouth.
Exit Ithamore with Friar Barnardine.
I never heard of any man but he maligned the order of the Jacobins. But do you think that I believe his words? Why, brother, you converted Abigail, and I am bound in charity to requite it, and so I will. O Giacomo, fail not, but come.
But Barabas, who shall be your godfathers? For presently you shall be shrived.
Marry, the Turk shall be one of my godfathers, but not a word to any of your covent.
I warrant thee, Barabas.
Exit.
So now the fear is past, and I am safe. For he that shrived her is within my house. What, if I murdered him ere Giacomo comes? Now I have such a plot for both their lives, as never Jew nor Christian knew the like. One turned my daughter, therefore he shall die. The other knows enough to have my life, therefore 'tis not requisite he should live. But are not both these wise men to suppose that I will leave my house, my goods and all, to fast and be well whipped? I'll none of that. Now, Friar Barnardine, I come to you. I'll feast you, lodge you, give you fair words, and after that, I and my trusty Turk, no more but so. It must and shall be done.
Enter Ithamore.
Ithamore, tell me, is the friar asleep?
Yes, and I know not what the reason is. Do what I can, he will not strip himself, nor go to bed, but sleeps in his own clothes. I fear me he mistrusts what we intend.
No, 'tis an order which the friars use. Yet, if he knew our meanings, could he escape?
No, none can hear him, cry he ne'er so loud.
Why, true, therefore did I place him there. The other chambers open towards the street.
You loiter, master. Wherefore stay we thus? Oh, how I long to see him shake his heels.
Come on, Sirrah, off with your girdle. Make a handsome noose.
Ithamore takes off his girdle and ties a noose on it.
Friar, awake!
They put the noose around the friar's neck.
What? Do you mean to strangle me?
Yes, 'cause you used to confess.
Blame not us, but the proverb, confess and be hanged. Pull hard.
What? Will you have my life?
Pull hard, I say. You would have had my goods.
Aye, and our lives too. Therefore, pull amain.
They strangle the friar.
'Tis neatly done, sir. Here's no print at all.
Then is it as it should be. Take him up.
Nay, master, be ruled by me a little.
Takes the body, sets it upright against the wall, and puts a staff in its hand.
So let him lean upon his staff. Excellent. He stands as if he were begging of bacon.
Who would not think but that this friar lived? What time of night is now, sweet Ithamore?
Towards 1.
Then will not Giacomo be long from hence?
Excellent. Enter Friar Giacomo.
This is the hour wherein I shall proceed. O happy hour wherein I shall convert an infidel, and bring his gold into our treasury. But soft, is this not Barnardine? It is, and understanding I should come this way, stands here a purpose meaning me some wrong, and intercept my going to the Jew. Barnardine, wilt thou not speak? Thou think'st I see thee not. Away I wish thee, and let me go by. No, wilt thou not? Nay, then I'll force my way. And see, a staff stands ready for the purpose. As thou likest that, stop me another time.
Takes the staff and strikes down the body. Enter Barabbas and Ithamore.
Why, how now, Giacomo? What hast thou done?
Why, stricken him that would have struck at me.
Who is it? Barnardine? Now, out! Alas, he is slain!
Aye, master, he's slain. Look how his brains drop out on's nose.
Good sirs, I have done, but nobody knows it but you two. I may escape.
So might my man and I hang with you for company.
No, let us bear him to the magistrates.
Good Barabbas, let me go.
No, pardon me, the law must have his course. I must be forced to give in evidence that, being importuned by this Barnardine to be a Christian, I shut him out, and there he sat. Now I, to keep my word, and give my goods and substance to your house, was up thus early, with intent to go unto your friary, because you stayed.
Fie upon him! Master, will you turn Christian, when holy friars turn devils, and murder one another?
No, for this example I'll remain a Jew. Heaven bless me, what, a friar, a murderer! When shall you see a Jew commit the like?
Why, a Turk could have done no more.
Tomorrow is the sessions, you shall to it. Come, Ithamore, let's help to take him hence.
Villains, I am a sacred person, touch me not.
The law shall touch you, will but lead you. We, lass, I could weep at your calamity. Take in the staff too, for that must be shown. Law wills that each particular be known.
Excellent. Enter Bellamira and Pilia Borza.
Pilia Borza, didst thou meet with Ithamore?
I did.
And didst thou deliver my letter?
I did.
And what thinkest thou? Will he come?
I think so, and yet I cannot tell, for at the reading of the letter he looked like a man of another world.
Why so?
That such a base slave as he should be saluted by such a tall man as I am, from such a beautiful dame as you.
And what said he?
Not a wise word, only gave me a nod, as who should say, is it even so? And so I left him, being driven to a nonplus at the critical aspect of my terrible countenance.
And where didst meet him?
Upon my own freehold within 40 foot of the gallows, conning his neck verse. I take it, looking of a friar's execution, whom I saluted with an old hempen proverb, Hodai tibi krasmihi, and so I left him to the mercy of the hangman. But the exercise being done, see where he comes.
Enter Ithamore.
I never knew a man take his death so patiently as this friar. He was ready to leap off ere the altar was about his neck, and when the hangman had put on this hempen tippet, he made such haste to his prayers as if he had had another cure to serve. Well, go whither he will, I'll be none of his followers in haste. And now I think on it, going to the execution, a fellow met me with a mush to toes like a raven's wing, and a dagger with a hilt like a warming pan. And he gave me a letter from one Madame Bellamira, saluting me in such sort as if he had meant to make clean my boots with his lips. The effect was that I should come to her house. I wonder what the reason is. It may be she sees more in me than I can find in myself. For she writes further that she loves me ever since she saw me, and who would not requite such love? Here's her house, and here she comes, and now would I were gone. Oh, I am not worthy to look upon her.
This is a gentleman you writ to.
Gentleman, he flouts me. What gentry can be in a poor Turk of 10pence? I'll be gone.
Is not a sweet-faced youth, Pilia?
Again, sweet youth? Did you not, sir, bring the sweet youth a letter?
I did, sir, and from this gentlewoman, who as myself and the rest of the family stand or fall at your service.
Though woman's modesty should hail me back, I can withhold no longer. Welcome, sweet love.
Now, am I clean, or rather foully, out of the way?
Whither so soon?
I'll go steal some money from my master to make me handsome. Pray, pardon me, I must go see a ship discharged.
Canst thou be so unkind to leave me thus?
And you did but know how she loves you, sir.
Nay, I care not how much she loves me. Sweet Bellamira, would I had my master's wealth for thy sake.
And you can have it, sir, and if you please.
If it were above ground, I could and would have it. But he hides and buries it up, as partridges do their eggs, under the earth.
And is it not possible to find it out?
By no means possible.
Aside to Pilia Borza.
What shall we do with this base villain, then.
Aside to her.
Let me alone. Do but you speak him fair. But you know some secrets of the Jew, which if they were revealed would do him harm.
Aye, and such as. Go to, no more. I'll make him send me half he has, and glad he escapes so, too. I'll write unto him. We'll have money straight.
Send for 100 crowns at least.
100,000 crowns.
Writing.
Master Barabbas.
Write not so submissively, but threatening him.
Writing.
Sirrah Barabbas. Send me 100 crowns.
Put in 200 at least.
Writing.
I charge thee send me 300 by this bearer, and this shall be your warrant. If you do not, no more, but so.
Tell him you will confess.
Writing.
Otherwise, I'll confess all. Vanish and return in a twinkle.
Let me alone. I'll use him in his kind.
Hang him, Jew.
Exit Pilia Borza with a letter.
Now, gentle Ithamore, lie in my lap. Where are my maids? Provide a cunning banquet. Send to the merchant, bid him bring me silks. Shall Ithamore, my love, go in such rags?
And bid the jeweller come hither too.
I have no husband, sweet. I'll marry thee.
Content. But we will leave this paltry land, and sail from hence to Greece, to lovely Greece. I'll be thy Jason, thou my golden fleece, where painted carpets o'er the meads are hurled, and Bacchus's vineyards o'erspread the world, where woods and forests go in goodly green. I'll be Adonis, thou shalt be love's queen. The meads, the orchards, and the primrose lanes, instead of sedge and reed, bear sugar canes. Thou in those groves, by Dis above, shalt live with me and be my love.
Whither will I not go with gentle Ithamore?
Re-enter Pilia Borza.
How now? Hast thou the gold?
Yes.
But came it freely? Did the cow give down her milk freely?
At reading of the letter he stared and stamped, and turned aside. I took him by the beard, and I looked upon him thus, told him he were best to send it. Then he hugged and embraced me.
Rather for fear than love.
Then, like a Jew, he laughed and jeered and told me he loved me for your sake, and said what a faithful servant you had been.
The more villain he to keep me thus. Here's goodly peril, is there not?
To conclude, he gave me 10 crowns.
Delivers the money to Ithamore.
But 10? I'll not leave him worth a grey groat. Give me a ream of paper. We'll have a kingdom of gold for't.
Write for 500 crowns.
Writing.
Sirrah, Jew, as you love your life, send me 500 crowns, and give the bearer 100. Tell him I must have it.
I warrant your worship shall have it.
And if he asks why I demand so much, tell him I scorn to write a letter under 100 crowns.
You'd make a rich poet, sir. I am gone.
Exit with the letter.
Take thou the money. Spend it for my sake.
'Tis not thy money, but thyself I weigh. Thus Bellamira esteems of gold,
Throws it aside.
but thus of thee.
Kisses him.
That 'Tis again. She runs division of my lips. What an eye she casts on me. It twinkles like a star.
Come, my dear love, let's in and sleep together.
Oh, that 10,000 nights were put in one, that we might sleep 7 years together, afore we wake.
Come, amorous wag. First banquet and then sleep.
Excellent. Enter Barabbas reading a letter.
Barabbas, send me 300 crowns. Plain Barabbas, oh, that wicked courtesan! He was not wont to call me Barabbas. Or else I will confess. Aye, there it goes, but if I get him coup de gorge for that, he sent a shaggy, tattered, staring slave, that, when he speaks, draws out his grisly beard, and winds it twice or thrice about his ear, whose face has been a grindstone for men's swords. His hands are hacked, some fingers cut quite off, who, when he speaks, grunts like a hog, and looks like one that is employed in catsery, and cross-biting, such a rogue as is the husband to 100 whores, and I by him must send 300 crowns? Well, my hope is he will not stay there still, and when he comes, oh, that he were but here.
Enter Pilia Borza.
Jew, I must have more gold.
Why, want'st thou any of thy tale?
No, but 300 will not serve his turn.
Not serve his turn, sir?
No, sir, and therefore I must have 500 more.
I'll rather—
Oh, good word, sir, and send it you were best. See, there's his letter.
Gives letter.
Might he not as well come as send? Pray, bid him come and fetch it. What he writes for you, ye shall have straight.
Aye, and the rest too, or else.
I must make this villain away. Please you dine with me, sir, and you shall be most heartily poisoned.
No, God a mercy. Shall I have these crowns?
I cannot do it. I have lost my keys.
Oh, if that be all, I can pick up your locks.
Or climb up to my counting-house window. You know my meaning.
I know enough, and therefore talk not to me of your counting-house. The gold, or no, Jew, it is in my power to hang thee.
I am betrayed. 'Tis not 500 crowns that I esteem. I am not moved at that. This angers me, that he who knows I love him as myself should write in this imperious vein. Why, sir, you know I have no child, and unto whom should I leave all, but unto Ithamore?
Here's many words, but no crowns. The crowns.
Commend me to him, sir, most humbly, and unto your good mistress as unknown.
Speak. Shall I have 'em, sir?
Sir, here they are.
Gives money.
Oh, that I should part with so much gold. Here, take 'em, fellow, with as good a will as I would see thee hanged. Oh, love stops my breath. Never loved manservant as I do Ithamore.
I know it, sir.
Pray, when, sir, shall I see you at my house?
Soon enough to your cost, sir. Fare you well.
Exit.
Nay, to thine own cost, villain, if thou comest. Was ever Jew tormented as I am? To have a shag-rag knave to come force from me 300 crowns, and then 500 crowns. Well, I must seek a means to rid 'em all, and presently, for in his villainy he will tell all he knows, and I shall die for it. I have it. I will in some disguise go see the slave, and how the villain revels with my gold.
Exit. Enter Bellamira, Ithamore, and Pilia Borza.
I'll pledge thee, love, and therefore drink it off.
Sayest thou me so? Have at it. And do you hear?
Whispers to her.
Go to, it shall be so.
Of that condition, I will drink it up. Here's to thee.
Nay, I'll have all or none.
There, if thou lov'st me, do not leave a drop.
Love thee. Fill me 3 glasses.
3 and 50 dozen. I'll pledge thee.
Navely spoken like a knight-at-arms.
Hey, Revo Castigliano. A man's a man.
Now to the Jew.
Ha! To the Jew. And send me money he were best.
What wouldst thou do if he should send thee none?
Do nothing. But I know what I know. He's a murderer.
I had not thought he had been so brave a man.
You knew Matthias and the governor's son. He and I killed them both, and yet never touched them.
Oh, bravely done.
I carried the broth that poisoned the nuns, and he and I, snickle hand too fast, strangled a friar.
You two alone?
We two, and 'twas never known, nor never shall be, for me.
Aside to Bellamira.
This shall with me unto the governor.
Aside to Pilia Borza.
And fit it should, but first let's hammer gold. Come, gentle Ithamore, lie in my lap.
Love me little, love me long, let music rumble, whilst I in thy incany lap do tumble.
Enter Barabbas, disguised as a French musician, with a lute and a nosegay in his hat.
A French musician, come, let's hear your skill.
Must tune my lute for sound, twang twang first.
Wilt drink, Frenchman? Here's to thee with a pox on this drunken hiccup.
Grand merci, monsieur.
Prithee, Pilia Borsa, bid the fiddler give me the posy in his hat there.
Sirrah, you must give my mistress your posy.
Of votre commandment, madame.
Giving nosegay.
How sweet. My Ithamore, the flowers smell.
Like thy breath, sweetheart, no violet like 'em.
Pho, methinks they stink like a hollyhock.
Aside.
So, now I'm revenged upon 'em all. The scent thereof was death. I poisoned it.
Play, fiddler, or I'll cut your cat's guts into chitterlings.
Pardonnez-moi, be in no tune yet, so now all be in.
Give him a crown, and fill me out more wine.
There's 2 crowns for thee. Play.
Giving money. Aside, and then plays.
How liberally the villain gives me mine own gold.
Methinks he fingers very well.
Aside.
So did you when you stole my gold.
How swift he runs.
Aside.
You run swifter when you threw my gold out of my window.
Musician, has been in Malta long?
2, 3, 4 months, madame.
Dost not know a Jew? One Barabbas?
Very much, monsieur. You know be his man?
His man?
I scorn the peasant. Tell him so.
Aside.
He knows it already.
'Tis a strange thing of that Jew. He lives upon pickled grasshoppers and sauced mushrooms.
Aside.
What a slave's this? The governor feeds not as I do.
He never put on clean shirt since he was circumcised.
Aside.
Oh, rascal. I change myself twice a day.
The hat he wears, Judas left under the alder when he hanged himself.
Aside.
'Twas sent me for a present from the great Cham.
A nasty slave he is. Whither now, fiddler?
Pardon-moi, monsieur. Me be no well.
Farewell, fiddler.
Exit Barabbas.
1 letter more to the Jew.
Prithee, sweet love, 1 more, and write it sharp.
No, I'll send by word of mouth now. Bid him deliver thee 1,000 crowns. By the same token, the nuns loved rice. That Friar Bernardine slept in his own clothes. Any of them will do it.
Let me alone to urge it. Now I know the meaning.
The meaning has a meaning. Come, let's in. To undo a Jew is charity, and not sin.
Excellent.
End of Act 4. Act 5 of The Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe. Edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Enter Fernez, knights, Martin del Bosco, and officers.
Now, gentlemen, betake you to your arms, and see that Malta be well fortified, and it behoves you to be resolute, For Calymath, having hovered here so long, will win the town or die before the walls.
And die he shall, for we will never yield.
Enter Bellamira and Pilia Borza.
Oh, bring us to the governor.
Away with her, she's a courtesan.
Whate'er I am, yet, governor, hear me speak. I bring thee news by whom thy son was slain. Matthias did it not. It was the Jew.
Who, besides the slaughter of these gentlemen, poisoned his own daughter and the nuns, strangled a friar, and I know not what mischief beside.
Had we but proof of this.
Strong proof, my lord. His man's now at my lodging that was his agent. He'll confess it all.
Go fetch him straight.
Exeunt officers.
I always feared that Jew.
Re-enter officers with Barabbas and Ithamore.
I'll go alone. Dogs, do not hail me thus.
Nor me neither. I cannot outrun you, constable. Oh, my belly.
1 dram of powder more had made all sure. What a damned slave was I.
Make fires, heat irons, let the rack be fetched.
Nay, stay, my lord. 'Tmay be he will confess.
Confess? What mean you, lords? Who should confess?
Thou and thy Turk 'twas that slew my son.
Guilty, my lord, I confess. Your son and Matthias were both contracted unto Abigail. He forged a counterfeit challenge.
Who carried that challenge?
I carried it, I confess. But who writ it? Marry, even he that strangled Bernardine, poisoned the nuns and his own daughter.
Away with him. His sight is death to me.
For what? You men of Malta, hear me speak. She is a courtesan, and he a thief, and he my bondman. Let me have law, for none of this can prejudice my life.
Once more, away with him. You shall have law.
Devils, do your worst. I'll live in spite of you. As these have spoke, so be it to their souls. I hope the poisoned flowers will work anon.
Exeunt officers with Barabbas and Ithamore, Bellamira and Pilia Borza. Enter Catherine.
Was my Matthias murdered by the Jew? Farnese, 'twas thy son that murdered him.
Be patient, gentle madam. It was he. He forged the daring challenge, made them fight.
Where is the Jew? Where is that murderer?
In prison till the law has passed on him.
Re-enter first officer.
My lord, the courtesan and her man are dead. So is the Turk and Barabbas the Jew.
Dead.
Dead, my lord. And here they bring his body.
This sudden death of his is very strange.
Re-enter officers carrying Barabbas as dead.
Wonder not at it, sir. The heavens are just. Their deaths were like their lives. Then think not of them. Since they are dead, let them be buried. For the Jew's body throw that over the walls, to be a prey for vultures and wild beasts. So now away and fortify the town.
Exeunt all, leaving Barabbas on the floor.
What, all alone?
Rising.
Well, fair sleepy drink. I'll be revenged on this accursed town. For by my means Calymath shall enter in. I'll help to slay their children and their wives, to fire the churches, pull their houses down, take my goods too, and seize upon my lands. I hope to see the governor a slave, and, rowing in a galley, whipped to death.
Enter Calymath, Bassos, and Turks.
Whom have we there? A spy?
Yes, my good lord, one that can spy a place where you may enter, and surprise the town. My name is Barabbas. I am a Jew.
Art thou that Jew whose goods we heard were sold for tribute money?
The very same, my lord. And since that time they have hired a slave, my man, to accuse me of 1,000 villainies. I was imprisoned, but scaped their hands.
Didst break prison?
No, I drank of poppy and cold mandrake juice. And being asleep, belike they thought me dead, and threw me over the wall. So, or how else, the Jew is here, and rests at your command.
'Twas bravely done. But tell me, Barabbas, canst thou, as thou reportst, make Malta ours?
Fear not, my lord, for here against the trench the rock is hollow, and of purpose digged, to make a passage for the running streams and common channels of the city. Now, whilst you give assault unto the walls, I'll lead 500 soldiers through the vault, and rise with them the middle of the town, open the gates for you to enter in, and by this means the city is your own.
If this be true, I'll make thee governor.
And if it be not true, then let me die.
Thou'st doomed thyself. Assault it, presently.
Excellent. Alarums within. Enter Calymath, Bassos, Turks, and Barabbas, with Fernez and knights prisoners.
Now veil your pride, you captive Christians, and kneel for mercy to your conquering foe. Now where's the hope you had of haughty Spain? Ferneze, speak. Had it not been much better to kept thy promise than be surprised?
What should I say? We are captives and must yield.
Aye, villains, you must yield, and under Turkish yokes shall groaning bear the burden of our ire. And Barabbas, as erst we promised thee, for thy desert we make thee governor. Use them at thy discretion.
Thanks, my lord.
O fatal day, to fall into the hands of such a traitor and unhallowed Jew! What greater misery could heaven inflict?
'Tis our command, and Barabbas we give to guard thy person these our Janissaries. Entreat them well, as we have used thee. And now, brave Bassos, come, we'll walk about the ruined town, and see the wreck we made. Ha ha! Farewell, brave Jew! Farewell, great Barabbas!
May all good fortune follow Calymath.
Excellent Calymath and Bassos.
And now, as entrance to our safety, to prison with the governor and these captains, his consorts and confederates.
O villain, heaven will be revenged on thee.
Away, no more. Let him not trouble me.
Excellent Turks with Fernez and knights.
Thus hast thou gotten by thy policy no simple place, no small authority. I now am governor of Malta, true, but Malta hates me, and in hating me my life's in danger. And what boots it thee, poor Barabbas, to be the governor, when as thy life shall be at their command? No, Barabbas, this must be looked into, and since by wrong thou gotst authority, maintain it bravely by firm policy, at least unprofitably lose it not. For he that liveth in authority, and neither gets him friends nor fills his bags, lives like the ass that Aesop speaketh of, that labours with a load of bread and wine, and leaves it off to snap on thistle-tops. But Barabbas will be more circumspect. Begin betimes, occasions bald behind. Slip not thine opportunity, for fear too late thou seek'st for much, but canst not compass it. Within here.
Enter Fernez with a guard.
My lord?
Aye, lord, thus slaves will learn. Now, governor. Stand by there, wait within.
Excellent guard.
This is the reason that I sent for thee. Thou seest thy life and Malta's happiness are at my arbitrament, and Barabbas at his discretion may dispose of both. Now tell me, governor, and plainly too, what thinkst thou shall become of it and thee?
This, Barabbas, since things are in thy power, I see no reason but of Malta's wreck, nor hope of thee but extreme cruelty, nor fear I death, nor will I flatter thee.
Governor, good words, be not so furious. 'Tis not thy life which can avail me aught, yet you do live, and live for me you shall. And as for Malta's ruin, think you not 'twere slender policy for Barabbas to dispossess himself of such a place? Forsith, as once you said within this isle, in Malta here, that I have got my goods, and in this city still have had success, and now at length am grown your governor, yourselves shall see it shall not be forgot. For, as a friend not known but in distress, I'll rear up Malta, now remediless.
Will Barabbas recover Malta's loss? Will Barabbas be good to Christians?
What wilt thou give me, governor, to procure a dissolution of the slavish bonds wherein the Turk hath yoked your land and you? What will you give me if I render you the life of Calymath, surprise his men, and in an outhouse of the city shut his soldiers, till I have consumed them all with fire? What will you give him that procureth this?
Do but bring this to pass which thou pretendest, deal truly with us as thou intimatest, and I will send amongst the citizens, and by my letters privately procure great sums of money for thy recompense. Nay, more, do this, and live thou governor still.
Nay, do thou this, Ferneze, and be free. Governor, I enlarge thee, live with me. Go walk about the city, see thy friends. Tush, send not letters to 'em, go thyself. And let me see what money thou canst make. Here's my hand that I'll set Malta free, and thus we cast it to a solemn feast. I will invite young Selim Calymath, where be thou present, only to perform one stratagem that I'll impart to thee, where no danger shall betide thy life, and I will warrant Malta free forever.
Here is my hand. Believe me, Barabbas, I will be there, and do as thou desirest. When is the time?
Governor, presently, for Calymath, when he hath viewed the town, will take his leave, and sail toward Ottoman.
Then will I, Barabbas, about this coin, and bring it with me to thee in the evening.
Do so, but fail not. Now farewell, Ferneze.
Exit Ferneze.
And thus far roundly goes the business. Thus, loving neither, will I live with both, making a profit of my policy, and he from whom my most advantage comes shall be my friend. This is the life we Jews are used to lead, and reason too, for Christians do the like. Well, now about effecting this device. First, to surprise great Selim's soldiers, and then to make provision for the feast, that at one instant all things may be done. My policy detests prevention. To what event my secret purpose drives, I know, and they shall witness with their lives.
Excellent. Enter Calymath and Bassos.
Thus have we viewed the city, seen the sack, and caused the ruins to be new repaired, which with our bombards, shot, and basilisks we rent in sunder at our entry. And now I see the situation, and how secure this conquered island stands, environed with the Mediterranean Sea, strong countermined with other petty isles, and, towards Calabria, backed by Sicily, where Syracusian Dionysius reigned. 2 lofty turrets that command the town. I wonder how it could be conquered thus.
Enter a messenger.
From Barabbas, Malta's governor, I bring a message unto mighty Calymath. Hearing his sovereign was bound for sea, to sail to Turkey, to great Ottoman, he humbly would entreat your majesty to come and see his homely citadel, and banquet with him ere thou leavest the isle.
To banquet with him in his citadel? I fear me, messenger, to feast my train within a town of war so lately pillaged will be too costly and too troublesome. Yet I would gladly visit Barabbas, for well has Barabbas deserved of us.
Selim, for that, thus saith the governor, that he hath in his store a pearl so big, so precious, and withal so orient, as, be it valued but indifferently, the price thereof will serve to entertain Selim and all his soldiers for a month. Therefore he humbly would entreat your highness not to depart till he has feasted you.
I cannot feast my men in Malta walls, except he places tables in the streets.
Know, Selim, that there is a monastery, which standeth as an outhouse to the town. There will he banquet them, but thee at home, with all thy bassos and brave followers.
Well, tell the governor we grant his suit. We'll in this summer evening feast with him.
I shall, my lord.
Exit.
And now, bold bassos, let us to our tents, and meditate how we may grace us best to solemnize our governor's great feast.
Excellent. Enter Ferneze, knights, and Martin del Bosco.
In this my countrymen be ruled by me. Have special care that no man sally forth, till you shall hear a culverin discharged, by him that bears the linstock kindled thus. Then issue out and come to rescue me, for happily I shall be in distress, or you released of this servitude.
Rather than thus to live as Turkish thralls, what will we not adventure?
On then, be gone.
Farewell, brave governor.
Excellent on one side, knights and Martin del Bosco, on the other, Ferneze. Enter above, Barabbas with a hammer, very busy, and carpenters.
How stand the cords? How hang these hinges? Fast? Are all the cranes and pulleys sure?
All fast.
Leave nothing loose, all levelled to my mind. Why, now I see that you have art indeed. There, carpenters, divide that gold amongst you.
Giving money.
Go, swilling bowls of sack and muscadine, down to the cellar, taste of all my wines.
We shall, my lord, and thank you.
Excellent carpenters.
And if you like them, drink your fill and die, for so I live, perish may all the world. Now, Selim Calymath, return me word that thou wilt come, and I am satisfied.
Enter messenger.
Now, sirrah, what? Will he come?
He will, and has commanded all his men to come ashore, and march through Malta streets, that thou mayest feast them in thy citadel.
Then now are all things as my wish would have 'em. There wanteth nothing but the governor's pelf, and see, he brings it.
Enter Fernez.
Now, governor, the sum?
With free consent, 100,000 pounds.
Pounds, sayest thou, governor? Well, since it is no more, I'll satisfy myself with that. Nay, keep it still, for if I keep not promised, trust not me. And, governor, now partake my policy. First, for his army. They are sent before, entered the monastery, and underneath, in several places, are field pieces pitched, bombards, whole barrels full of gunpowder, that on the sudden shall dissever it, and batter all the stones about their ears, whence none can possibly escape alive. Now, as for Calymath and his consorts, here have I made a dainty gallery, the floor whereof this cable being cut doth fall asunder, so that it doth sink into a deep pit past recovery. Here, hold that knife, and when thou seest he comes,
Throws down a knife.
And with his baso shall be blithely set, a warning piece shall be shut off from the tower, to give thee knowledge when to cut the cord and fire the house. Say, will not this be brave?
Oh, excellent! Here, hold thee, Barabbas. I trust thy word. Take what I promised thee.
No, governor, I'll satisfy thee first. Thou shalt not live in doubt of anything. Stand close, for here they come.
Fernez retires.
Why, is not this a kingly kind of trade, to purchase towns by treachery and sell 'em by deceit? Now tell me, worldlings underneath the sun, if greater falsehood ever has been done.
Enter Calymath and Bassos.
Come, my companion Bassos. See, I pray, how busy Barabbas is there above to entertain us in his gallery. Let us salute him. Save thee, Barabbas!
Welcome, great Calymath.
How the slave jeers at him.
Will't please thee, mighty Selim Calymath, to ascend our homely stairs?
Aye, Barabbas! Come, Bassos, ascend.
Coming forward.
Stay, Calymath, for I will shew thee greater courtesy than Barabbas would have afforded thee.
Within.
Sound a charge there!
A charge sounded within. Fernez cuts the cord. The floor of the gallery gives way, and Barabbas falls into a cauldron placed in a pit. Enter knights and Martin del Bosco.
How now? What means this?
Help! Help me, Christians, help!
See, Calymath, this was devised for thee.
Treason! Treason! Bassos, fly!
No, Selim, do not fly. See his end first, and fly then, if thou canst.
Oh, help me, Selim! Help me, Christians! Governor, why stand you all so pitiless?
Should I in pity of thy plaints or thee, accursed Barabbas, based you relent? No, thus I'll see thy treachery repaid, but wish thou hadst behaved thee otherwise.
You will not help me, then?
No, villain, no.
And villains, no, you cannot help me now. Then, Barabbas, breathe forth thy latest fate, and in the fury of thy torments strive to end thy life with resolution. No, governor, 'twas I that slew thy son. I framed the challenge that did make them meet. No, Calymath, I aimed thy overthrow, and had I but escaped this stratagem, I would have brought confusion on you all. Damned Christian dogs and Turkish infidels! But now begins the extremity of heat to pinch me with intolerable pangs. Die, life! Fly, soul! Tongue, curse thy fill and die!
Dies.
Tell me, you Christians, what doth this portend?
This train he laid to have entrapped thy life. Now, Selim, note the unhallowed deeds of Jews. Thus he determined to have handled thee, but I have rather choose to save thy life.
Was this the banquet he prepared for us? Let's hence, lest further mischief be pretended.
Nay, Selim, stay, for since we have thee here, we will not let thee part so suddenly. Besides, if we should let thee go, all's one, for with thy galleys couldst thou not get hence, without fresh men to rig and furnish them.
Tush, governor, take no care for that. My men are all aboard, and do attend my coming there by this.
Why, heardest thou not the trumpet sound a charge?
Yes, what of that?
Why, then the house was fired, blown up, and all thy soldiers massacred.
Oh, monstrous treason!
A Jew's courtesy, for he that did by treason work our fall, by treason hath delivered thee to us. Know therefore till thy father hath made good the ruins done to Malta and to us, thou canst not part, for Malta shall be freed, or Selim never return to Ottoman.
Nay, rather, Christians, let me go to Turkey, in person there to mediate your peace. To keep me here will not advantage you.
Content thee, Calymath, here thou must stay, and live in Malta prisoner for come all the world. To rescue thee, so will we guard us now. As sooner shall they drink the ocean dry, than conquer Malta, or endanger us. So march away, and let due praise be given, neither to fate nor fortune, but to heaven.
Excellent.
End of Act 5. End of The Jew of Malta by Christopher Marlowe. Edited by the Reverend Alexander Dice.